Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Excited to get into part 2 of our Cabral HouseCalls, where we'll be answering all of our community's questions that have come in over the past couple months. I believe we are moving through December's questions as of right now. We had some great questions coming yesterday. And, as always, these are, fantastic questions. I love reading them. And the reason is that I really feel that I'm able to put together longer podcasts on the topics that you want to know and really keep things relevant. The other thing is that I get to see that a lot of the things that people suffer from are universal. So we have people writing in from Europe, from Australia and New Zealand, and we have people writing in from South America and all over the US. So you have to understand is that people are people. We all are suffering from the same things. And so as we're listening to this show, I hope that it gives you hope, that it enables you to understand that we're really all in this together. We all suffer from the same things. We have family members out there that are not in the best of health, that we're all just trying to help each other out. And that's really what the Cabral HouseCalls are all about. It's trying to give you that good first place to get started. So like yesterday, we were talking about what to do for someone suffering from low testosterone and low energy. Other people from feeling sluggish and tired while pregnant. Someone else with chronic sinus issues. Looking at what else? Someone right here, I'm reading the questions saying that they're having an issue with the keto-based diet or a low-carb diet. Another person, an issue with bowel movements. We've got people having issues with swallowing food called achalasia. So all of these foods, all of these topics that keep coming up, these are things that I've seen hundreds of times in my practice, and I've read them hundreds of times from people online. So I'll tell you right now, the information is out there. What we're trying to do is simply spread this message to others. I hope that you'll join in with us. So let's get right into today's questions. First question is from Daryl. Daryl's asking, hey, great show. May sound like a silly question, but can someone start a performance-enhancing drug cycle to get the body enhancement results in a short time, then start the Dr. Ball detox to eliminate any potential side effects? Have you done any show listing those side effects? Also, aside iTunes reviews, is there any other means to show our appreciation, especially for those who download your episodes and don't use Apple products, so don't have access to iTunes? Keep up the good work. Daryl, thank you for the question, and I appreciate you just asking how you can help. To me, honestly, it's all about spreading the mission, and what I would love you to do is whatever way you listen to the podcast, whether it's on an Android phone or anything else, you can leave a review on that as well. So I know everybody's busy. I totally get that, and I appreciate you tuning in, to be honest. We're trying right now, we are almost at 1,000 reviews on iTunes. We're trying to get there. Not because it means anything, but it's just great that's one more barrier to hit. If you've been listening to the podcast or you purchased the Rain Barrel Effect, if you could leave an Amazon review, that would be amazing. So just those things help to spread the message. And essentially, they're both free methodologies that you can share to others. The Rain Barrel Effect's a very low cost book, and 100% of all profit is donated to charity. So that would be helpful, Daryl, but really just you tuning in means a lot. So let's get into your question. Okay, here's the issue. If you use performance-enhancing drugs, I'm assuming you're talking about either growth hormone, testosterone, or anything that will enhance this as body enhancement. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Okay, here's the issue. This is what I worry about. It's not that we can't get rid of the byproduct effects by using a functional medicine detox. The issue is that you shut down your own endogenous, which means internal production of those hormones for a bit. So, for example, let's say you're taking testosterone. Let's say you're a 45-year-old guy. You're like, I'm going to use testosterone. Okay. If you use it and the dosage is higher than you would produce in your own body on a daily basis, your body will start to shut down its own production of testosterone. You might say, no big deal, because I'm just going to use testosterone, and then when I get off testosterone, it will just start producing its own. Well, two things. One is your body's not going to keep the results of the higher testosterone dosage unless you continue with a higher testosterone dosage. Will you keep some of that? Yes. Will you keep all of it? No. Okay. So there's one downside right there, because I know a lot of guys, when they come off testosterone, lower mood, depression, and they don't like how they look because they lost a lot of that muscle, and they don't feel that pump in their body, and they don't have the same vascularity like they did on testosterone. Okay. So it gives you a false sense of body transformation, unless you're going to continue with steroids or testosterone the rest of your life, which I can't recommend. Number two is this, is that when you come off testosterone, your levels of testosterone and exogenous, which means putting testosterone into your body, when you come off, your own levels don't just bounce right back. And for a guy that's in its 40s, they might never come back to its full levels because you've shut them down. So I would be more wary of those side effects, than the harm of putting it in. Now, if you take testosterone or growth hormone, could it increase tumor size or cancerous growth? Yes. Could it increase cholesterol or cardiovascular-based issues? Yes. Or blood pressure? Yes. So those are the bigger side effects. The detox, yeah, that's all those things are going to help, but it does not help with the other part. Like, that's not what it's meant for. So, Daryl, there's a lot more in terms of side effects. I would much rather use a natural-based testosterone boosting, and you can just check out my previous podcast on how to boost testosterone naturally and how to build muscle naturally, than turn to performance-enhancing drugs. Can't recommend that. All right, Heather's up next. If I'm being forced to get a flu shot for work, how can I protect myself best? So, Heather, thanks for this question. Typically, once a year, I do a show on the flu shot. I just really decided not to do one this year. You can always just go back at stephencabral.com/podcasts and type in flu shot, and you'll definitely get my recommendations on, whether I think it's important to get, whether I don't think it's important. But I know a lot of people have to get it for work, so I totally get it. So here's what we want to do. We need to get that stuff out of our system. All the metals and all the binders and all the preservatives that they put in a flu shot. Now, think what you will about the flu shot, flu vaccine. And that can be your opinion, and that's totally fine. Like, I'm never against anybody's opinion, and I want people to always do what's best for them and do what's best for their family. So I have no problem with that. But I don't think there's anybody out there in the world who believes that putting heavy metal and all sorts of animal-based tissue, etc., into their body is a great idea. There's nobody who really thinks that, right? So let's at least get that out of our body as quickly as possible. So what I would like you to do is right off the bat, before you even get the flu shot, or if you did, is I need you to boost your levels of your own natural immune boosters. So I would use the adult wellness protocol or immune protocol that we have, or our children's immune protocol. And simply put, if you don't have access to all of those things, and they're not even through Equilibrium Nutrition because we don't offer those products, but you can boost your levels of zinc, you can boost your levels of vitamin C, and then you can do a functional medicine detox like the Dr. Ball detox. So right away, get that stuff out of your system. A functional medicine detox opens up your liver pathways to get all those chemicals out. You can even do a heavy metal detox if you wanted to, but you might not have to go that far. You can ramp up your vitamin C. You could do a little extra glutathione if you would like, and you can ramp up your zinc. Now, there's much more you could do. You could use echinacea. You could use, there's so many amazing herbs, and that's why we just say use the wellness protocol. So all of that's great, okay? You can do that. But then also, you can do saunas for a week to help pull out some of those metals as well, and just try to get a little extra sleep too to help balance the immune system. So the truth is that you have to get those toxins out of the body as quickly as possible. And that's at least a basic place to start. And that's what I would do. Alan's up next. Alan writes in, wife had organic acid lab run a year ago. We are learning more via the podcast, endocrinologist, etc., and believe she has adrenal fatigue and hormone imbalance because of it. She has all of the symptoms from podcast 1040. I plan to order the adrenal soothe today. Can she also take the life support at the same time? If so, how should she time it throughout the day? She has started taking Vayarin Plus, which is basically phospotytleserine omega-3. Is it okay that the adrenal soothe will add phospotytleserine and L-theanine? Thanks for your help. Okay. So, here's the thing. I don't know these outside, I don't know the Vayarin Plus that you're talking about. For those people who want to know what episode 1040 was, that was episode 7, Warning Signs of Oncoming Adrenal Fatigue. Alan, you wrote your question in on December 13th. So it's obviously been, about 10 weeks or so? Yeah, we run about 10, 12 weeks behind on the questions. That's just because of the number of questions that have come in. My opinion is this. You only want one cook in the kitchen. And if you're working with a functional medicine doctor right now, integrative health practitioner, I recommend working with them. But you don't want to kind of look at multiple recommendations. So if you're using the adrenal soothe, though, or the adrenal energy support, here's how you would use them. If you need energy in the morning, you would do 2 capsules of adrenal energy support at breakfast, and then 2 at lunch if you need energy at the lunchtime hour. You would definitely use adrenal soothe, 2 capsules at night in order to bring down the wired, right? So if you're tired and wired, that's how you revamp it, you reloop it. But you'll also be doing most likely the deep sleep protocol at night, or at least full spectrum magnesium with dinner. I mean, I would just use our omega-3, the equilibrium nutrition, and the phospotytleserine is already going to come in the adrenal soothe at night. So easy. Because I don't see why you would take phospotytleserine with an omega-3 product. The two don't go hand in hand. So that to me doesn't make as much sense. The L-theanine is great. We have that in our deep sleep support. Our adrenal soothe is everything you need to calm the adrenals. So that's what I would do. The only way, though, to really look at adrenal-based issues is to run the thyroid adrenal hormone. And then a secondary test would be the hair tissue mineral analysis. The organic acids test is not going to be a look at adrenal fatigue. It's not the test for that. It's an amazing test. Looks at energy support. It looks at energy systems, but not adrenal fatigue. It looks at mitochondrial levels. It looks at candida, fungal overgrowth. It looks at bacterial overgrowth. It looks at detoxification. It looks at your B vitamins. But it doesn't address what your adrenals are doing, or more specifically, the cortisol levels, DHEA, estrogen, progesterone, etc. All right, hopefully that helps. Leah's up next. Leah's asking, Dear Dr. Cabral, I have several tests done in the past and have determined that I have an MTHFR gene, a C667T mutation. I also have pyroluria, adrenal fatigue, low levels of histamine, and high levels of homocysteine. I experience health issues such as fatigue, insomnia, constant brain fog, digestive complications, and hormone imbalance. I find it progressively getting worse. I eat mostly organic, exercise, conscious of chemicals, plastics. I have sought out help over the past 10 years from many different doctors, and I have paradoxical reactions to everything. Even the tiniest amount of probiotic will affect me. What suggestions would help to improving my health? Can't seem to tolerate everything or anything. Leah, great question. And we actually answered this, not your exact question, at stephencabral.com/podcasts. It's called Reacting to Everything, or Supplement Reactions. Let's see if we can find it for you. All right, so we're just going to go to our house calls, and we're going to look to see where we can find that for you. Okay, that was on episode 1094, and that was a house call, and it said reaction to supplements. So basically, when people are in your position, and I was there as well, so exactly where you are, and I had all the things that you just spoke about. So here's the issue. You know that you need supplements because you know that your body's depleted and you need to get better. But the problem is you're reacting to everything, right? So it always goes back to an overwhelm in the body. The body's already amped up, so we need to get more in that parasympathetic healing state. So check out last week's podcast on the 10 things, my top 10 ways to get into the parasympathetic. Check that show out. That was on episode, let's see if we can find that for you quick. It was on episode 1119. That was it. Okay, so basically go back to the previous podcast that I just spoke about, and that was episode 1094. And it will talk about how what we really need to do is wring out that liver to allow your body not to be so overwhelmed by everything in the beginning, to do more of the parasympathetic nervous system activities, to do micro dosage, smaller dosages of the supplements that you do need, starting with the big rocks first, the ones that are going to have the most effect first. And then understanding that a lot of all the genetic mutations that you have are not as big a deal as they seem. And I have those, so I can say that to you. They have to do like pyroluria. You're going to add a little bit more zinc, and you're going to add a little bit more B6, and you're going to feel fantastic. But you have to start with the lower dose. And a lot of yours have to do with lower levels of B vitamins, but you simply can't absorb them at a higher dose. So we're going to start with a lower dose first, right? So we're going to do all of these things to revamp your body, and then you're going to start to feel better. Thank you for the question. Alicia is up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral and team. Please advise my best course of action to make sure I'm covering all of my important bases and getting and asking all the right questions in the process. I hear my heartbeat loud and clear when I'm in bed and going to sleep, and I hear it even when it falls asleep and I wake up from it. All right, let's see what else is going on. Talks about diet, talks about cardiologist, and having tests done. Okay, so I've actually spoken about this before, that when someone can hear their own heartbeat and it kind of pulsates through their carotid artery in their neck and a little bit through their chest, that this is a good sign that there are either endocrine issues or electrolyte imbalances. Now, it can be other things as well. So the first thing you want to do is exactly what you did. Whenever you have an issue that could be arrhythmia-based in the heart or something's out of the ordinary, right? You should absolutely go to your PCP, see a specialist, get the proper test done to make sure that it's nothing life-threatening. After that, if there's no acute-based issue, remember, conventional medicine is not going to have an answer for you. That's not their job. They don't know how to help things that are not disease-based, right? So here's what we need to look at next. We need to look at an imbalance between sodium and potassium, okay, for sure. And we need to look at a balance between calcium and magnesium. Best way to do that is a hair tissue mineral analysis. You can get that over at equilibriumnutrition.com, or you can work with a local practitioner that specializes in that. Now, the second thing we need to do is run a thyroid adrenal hormone test. Same thing. Over at equilibriumnutrition.com or with a local practitioner. Now, it needs to be in depth, though. We need to see your free T4, free T3, your TSH, but I need to see your cortisol levels as well. Here's why. A lot of people that hear their own heartbeat sometimes have a massive amount of adrenaline or cortisol or both pumping and surging through their body. And one of the issues is that the body's pumping too hard. And there's an exaggerated response, and it does not stop at night when you're lying down, right? Or when you're rested. So these are just a couple of the reasons why a lot of people say, check your thyroid. Well, it's possible, but to be honest, at that point, your thyroid's most likely affected by the HPA axis, your adrenals. So I would first look at that, and you're going to need to run your thyroid anyways on that. So I would look at those first. There are other reasons why, B vitamins, lack of B vitamins. But again, if there's a lack of B vitamins, well, because you could run that in organic acids test as well. So would I love you to run those, all three? Yes, I would. But I know that not everyone's able to. But you could essentially run the starter kit, which is the hair tissue mineral analysis that looks at all your minerals. Then you could look at the organic acids test, which can look at your B vitamins, and you can look at your thyroid adrenal hormone. That would essentially give you everything. So that's the place to start. I don't want to overcomplicate this. That's exactly where I would start. You can find a local practitioner, or you can work with my team. Okay. Kristen's up next. Hi there. Desperate for advice on how to cure arrhythmia, particularly ectopic heartbeats, and SVT, which stands for supraventricular tachycardia. They and the anxiety they bring me are ruling my life, and there's got to be a better answer than the scary drug surgeries that might not work to learn to live with it. I'm convinced they could be linked with stomach GERD issues as they seem to trigger. Please help. Yeah, Kristen, this is absolutely, and it's very much connected. So hopefully, Alicia, you're still listening to this question. That, remember, arrhythmias are often tied to electrolyte imbalances, specifically lower levels of magnesium. So I would love for you to test your hair tissue mineral analysis, but also, and I didn't mention this, Alicia, because there's just so much to talk about, is it can be histamine mediated. Meaning but the problem is though, when you're blasting out histamine, you're also blasting out adrenaline for the most part to try to counteract and calm the inflammation. So, they're all related, but it can be histamine related. And that's why, Kristen, you might have this GERD or stomach issues because it could be histamine regulated. But here's the issue. If you're dealing with supraventricular tachycardia, SVT, you're dealing with ectopic heartbeats and the arrhythmia, I can't recommend this enough, just like I did for Alicia. Look at sympathetic nervous system stress in terms of cortisol and adrenaline. Fix that, okay? First, regulate that. Look at your electrolyte balance at the same time. Remember, your body in your heart is an electrical pump, and it works off of two things: sodium-potassium balance, calcium-magnesium balance. Calcium-magnesium are smooth, or basically it relaxes muscle, and it contracts. So it constricts and relaxes. Constricts, relaxes. Sodium-potassium, same thing. In, out, in, out. It works on osmosis. So we have potassium, we have sodium. That is basically, you need enough coming in and enough going out to keep that electrical balance. Same for calcium magnesium, right? We have those specific ions that allow charges inside of that muscle, or more specifically, with how the muscles move over each other to create a squeeze of the heart and then a relaxation of the heart. I can't recommend enough looking into those two things. And again, we do not cure, we do not treat, and we do not diagnose disease. But I'll tell you what we do is we look at underlying root causes, and by fixing those underlying root causes, the symptoms that you just spoke about, they magically go away. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Let's see if we can get in one more question. This one is from Tiffany. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've tried to find an answer to my weird sleeping problem everywhere, so I'm hoping you can shine some light on it. I go to sleep every night at 9:30. My alarm's set for 6 a.m. Unfortunately, about 3 months ago, I started waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm unable to fall back to sleep, even though I'm super tired. I don't drink coffee or alcohol. I meditate every day, not really stressed out. My last meal of the day is always at least 4 hours before bedtime. I also don't use my phone before bed. Basically, nothing changed from before when I was able to sleep through until the alarm went off. Do you have any ideas of what the problem might be? Thanks a million, Tiff. All right, Tiffany, let's get you the answer. So you're doing great. Like, you're basically in bed for 8.5 hours, but you're waking up after about 6.5 hours. Okay. So we wouldn't say yet that you got enough sleep. So we can rule that one out. Okay. You tell me that nothing changed from before. Sometimes this is true. Sometimes you just haven't found out that answer yet because no one's asked you the questions. Meaning, like, what about a change in job? What about a change in season? What about relationship issues, work issues, any additional stressor that could be on your mind? If the answer to that is no, okay. What about any new foods you've added in? What about any new supplements? Because I want you to go back to that baseline. Now, the other thing is this. Did you always stop eating 4 hours before bed? Or did it used to be 2.5, 3 hours? Is there a drop in blood sugar around that time? Around 4 a.m. is when your body starts to ramp up thyroid and start to begin to ramp up cortisol. I'm wondering if that ramping up process is happening too abruptly for you and it's waking you up out of your sleep. Here's what I'd like you to do just to start. Well, for one is obviously I would love to lab test, but I can't say you have to do that. But at least I would do a thyroid adrenal hormone. Like if I could only do one test, I would do that, okay? So then after that, I would do this. And again, this is not medical advice. I have to always be careful with that, saying that. This is not medical advice. I don't know you. I'm simply reading your question. If it was me and I had these issues, I would start with this. I would do 2 capsules of adrenal soothe at dinner. I would do 2 capsules of the full spectrum magnesium at dinner. That's what I would do for me. And then I would do our deep sleep protocol before bed. I'm not going to use it forever. I'll use it for 3 to 4 weeks. I'll get into a good sleep cycle, and then I'll begin to wean off, just start cutting back on each one slowly of the deep sleep protocol. I'll keep going with the adrenal soothe at dinner and the full spectrum magnesium at dinner. Once you're still sleeping well, then you might be able to cut back on those too. So that is where I would start. That's my initial answer. Again, I will have more advice when I see a lab test. And because again, sometimes it seems like it just happened, but it's all about the rain barrel effect. It really is. Over the past couple of years or even months, you could have been starting to get depleted of omega-3s, right? There could be a lot of things that are happening. B vitamins, zinc. So I would start with I would do a foundational protocol, our daily foundational protocol. Check that out over at Equilibrium Nutrition if you'd like. It's what I do every day myself. And then I would start to get into the evening supplements that I just spoke about. We don't have to do overwhelming. We can understand that it's not going to be forever for the deep sleep protocol, but you're going to get yourself back retrained into a better sleep cycle. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you, everyone who tuned in today. Truly appreciate it. It means so much to me. Do feel free to pass this episode along, or at least the knowledge, to anyone you believe it could serve. Take care. Thank you so much for just tuning in. I truly appreciate it. I honestly do. And that is why I love bringing you these fun deals we have going on at equilibriumnutrition.com. They're really for our podcast listeners, for our community. That's who we promote them to. That's who we really want to give them away to. And the reason we do it is because all of us, like my whole team and I, we love the health and fitness industry. We love this community. And what we want to be able to do is share our favorite things with you. That's the truth. And so right now, we've had this product called Daily Fruit and Vegetable Blend. We've had it now for almost 3 years, and it is by far and away one of our most popular products. Well, it's not going to stop. That product is continuing on and will continue on forever. I use it every single day. It's part of my morning routine. You probably heard about it before. I wake up, I mix 1 scoop of that in my tap water, my Berkey water. I squeeze a lime in there, pinch of sea salt, and sometimes a little raw local wildflower honey or a little bit of Manuka honey, just a half a teaspoon. And that is my morning drink, and I feel fantastic. I love it. I do that every morning. Well, we just came out with a new flavor. Now, that flavor was named by our community. That's the cool thing. Our community at CabralSupportGroup.com, they voted on it. It is called Crisp Apple. This is by far and away the best tasting greens and reds, because it's not just a greens powder, it's 22 fruit, vegetable, and superfoods in there. And this is a product that I know that you're going to love. It is now, because I've had it now for a couple months, because the nice thing about owning the company, right, founding it and getting to formulate, is that I get these products first. So I've been using this product now for a couple months. It has become my pre and peri-workout drink, meaning like I make it before my workout and I'm drinking it during my workout. Amazing flavor. My kids love it. That's why it had to be kid approved. And so it tastes like apple juice. It's absolutely fantastic. Right now, what we have going on at equilibriumnutrition.com is a buy two, get one free of the unflavored for the people that love the unflavored, basically just juiced fruits and veggies without the sugar, because you're just getting the living micronutrients from that and the superfoods. So whenever we debut something, we like you to be the first to know, and we'd like to do something special. This is literally a $70 savings, a $69.95 savings. Buy two, get one free. Go in with your friends, stock up, save for later. If your spouse uses it, great, get one for them. If they don't use it, make sure that they're getting in their 22 organic fruits and veggies. I'm telling you right now, a lot of us try to focus on our greens, right? Get our 7 to 9 servings a day. But a lot of the time, we're not getting a wide variety of our fruits and our vegetables, and this is an easy way to do it. I use it as part of my fail-safe, as part of the daily nutritional or daily foundational protocol. So head on over while supplies last at equilibriumnutrition.com to get your unflavored or the brand new debut, the pre-sale of the crisp apple flavor. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much. I'll talk with you soon.